So I've been thinking about building a DJI. I hesitate to say Whoop, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I've got got a bunch of frames, and I don't know which one is really going to work best. And so I'm just going to kind of go through them, and we'll see just what we have. So this is a Rabbit 349. It looks like it is 9x9, and it kind of looks like it's meant for a 20x20 stack. And I was thinking more along the lines of a 16x16 stack, or even an AIO stack. I would actually kind of prefer to use up an AIO that I have, because I think that would work better. So I don't think this is the right frame for this job. We've got this little bundle. This is a HX115 frame, and it has some motors already mounted to it, but this was a build that I had kind of started but then abandoned because I wasn't very happy with some of the things that I was planning on using it for. But in this bag is also that all-in-one that I was planning to use. The GEP RC 12A F4 BL Heli S, OSD 2 to 4S. So this little guy here. The nice thing about this over the Beta FPV one is that this one actually has provision for a buzzer. And in looking at this GEP RC, let's actually take everything out of here. Let's just do it right. And again, this is going to be like a 3S/4S build. The motors that I'm planning on using are really rated for 3S, but they produce like 244 grams of thrust on 3S. So I feel like it's more than enough thrust. Yeah. Again, this is the HX100 carbon fiber frame in here, and it's got a couple motors mounted to it already. But I don't think we're going to use it for that. So I'm just going to put everything back in this little baggie and see if I can't ziplock it together, and then put this guy back in this little bag. So this is the all-in-one that I was thinking about using, and I was actually considering removing these connectors and coming off the battery, but it does have a an R2 and a T2 pad, which I hope are uninverted pads, and I can power the DJI unit directly from the battery. There's no problem with that. And then there's also a S-bus here somewhere, or at least I thought there was. There's a pad here somewhere for a for S-bus input. Maybe it's RC. I honestly, I'd have to Google again and bring up the but there's video in, video out. It's got a T1 pad, an R2, an R1. Yeah, pretty sure it also has an FP on it, whatever that means. Yeah, so this is what I'm hoping to use for this build. So keeping weight down. So this is the flight controller I'm hoping to use. And let's keep going on these frames. I also have, this is a toothpick frame that is ridiculously thin. I think that's like, I don't even think it's 1 1.5 millimeter. I think it's actually a little less than 1.5 millimeters. And that's just my own fault because I didn't get the Pro version. I just got the regular one. But it was like $7 on Banggood, so I was like, to hell with it, I'll just, you know, get it and see what it's all about, see if there's anything there. And haven't built anything with it yet, but we certainly can. This is a Johnny 2.5 inch. I actually have a built Johnny, and I'll tell you that this is nowhere near big enough to run a DJI. So we're not gonna use that one. I have this new tadpole. So here is the frame, and it is definitely AIO capable. I just don't think that it is going to work. I don't think that the front mount here is wide enough, and so I don't think I can put the camera in this particular frame. Otherwise, this might have been the perfect frame to use, but it just I can't see it working for this. It looks like a fantastic little frame. I mean, it's practically a dead cat frame. The way this guy hangs out ahead of the arms is really nice, but yeah, I don't think that this is going to work for this particular build. And then we have this guy. This is the SpinTech Micro, and in this bag are the motors, or the motors are around here somewhere. And it looks like, and this is kind of hard to see, so maybe I can pull this guy out, and I can kind of do a little bit of a comparison here. No, I don't think. Yeah, no. This was a, I think this was meant for a 2020 stack. This too, meant for a 2020 stack, because that's how this is all set up. And it looks like a very beefy little frame, this SpinTech. I actually have some 1304s. This is going to be my 4S rig that I was going to do first, is this one. And I haven't gotten into that one yet. So I'm going to say that this is a pass as well. And moving on, we have these are the motors for the SpinTech, and those probably don't belong in there. We have the Ripsqueak from BQE. This was another candidate for this because it's a 2020 stack. That's the only downside, I think. Let me just double check because I made a bunch of notes. Micro frames. Let's see. Ripsqueak has a 2020 and a 16x16 apparently, but doesn't have any AIO provisions, making this not an ideal candidate for this guy, because this sits diagonally one. This usually the front, and it's usually like this. So this is the front, and then the USB is in the rear. Typically, it doesn't need to be that way, but and it sits catty corner like this, because normally what you have is ducts on here, here, and here, and so that is kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of how the all-in-ones go, and it's 26.5 millimeters on a side, and the diagonal is just a hair under 28, or just a hair under 30. Is that right? Here, or a hair over 30, something like that, 35, or just, yeah, something. Anyway, so just keep that in mind. And so the Ripsqueak, probably not a good choice. This is the 3-inch model, so I was actually planning on doing another 2S 3-inch build rather than a 2.5. So something to keep in mind. What else is in here? This is one of the sharks. I think that this is the bull. Yes, the bull, because it's bigger than this. This is the bull shark from Falcon Multirotors. I said Pinion RC before because that's where I bought it from, and I made the incorrect assumption that that's who produced it. But it's actually just like the tiny shark that I put together, only a little bit bigger. It's like a 110 or 115 millimeter frame, something like that. So it has, I want to say it has 16 by 16 and 20 by 20, but not all-in-one mounts. Is that accurate? Yes, there are no all-in-one mounts on this guy. Yep. So that's out. This guy is in the same boat, except this only fits a 16 by 16, so it's just a hair bigger than the tiny shark we did, and this one's the baby shark. So those are the... And then we come down to some 3D printed stuff that I'm not really ready to... I mean, we could try and do this, but I don't think that's going to work. And then this one. So we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit, except for this other one over here. Let's see if I can kind of show you what I'm thinking. Let's see if we can make this work. Oh, and then I have this guy. I shouldn't forget this one. This is the cream puff, and it is a 1.25 millimeter frame. It's designed to be like 1 or 2 grams, and it's super light. I mean, yeah. This is going to be for the 1S, like a 3-inch 1S 1402 with a 16 by 16 stack on it. And I think I'll just use, yes, a 16 by 16 stack. The Teeny F4 is the stack I got with a 5 amp EFC to go with that. And I was probably going to run, well, I'm running a Crossfire and I'm running a Unify on it. So we got that with a Unify on top and this little guy, this little 3D printed TPU mount to hold everything in place. So that'll be a fun little upcoming build as well. 1S, like I said. I also have a Meteor coming. So, but what we have over here, and what everyone's going to cringe at, is the HX115. And what comes in the kit is actually 2 frames, which is surprising. And you get this guy, which is a glossy. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's a little darker and looks like it's been coated in something. And then there's this guy, which is the bear, although it, feels more like regular old carbon, like you would anything else. This feels plasticky and cheap. But they both seem to be fairly stout. But an interesting thing is that the DJI unit fits. Rather nicely. Between these outside edges, right? So if we imagine a post here and a post here and a post along the back, let's call this the back, right? If we imagine that, okay, and a little tiny bit of grip under there, maybe a zip tie around it. Then if we kind of mounted this guy up on top and clipped off these arms and this arm. You see where I'm going with this? We can mount the flight stack to this guy, mount this to this guy with some standoffs, right? So we've got the flight stack handle. Okay, it'll sit up on top. We've got a little stuff this into a canopy or print something out to handle that, and then be good to go. So that's what I'm thinking. And I had been thinking about, oh well, I'll just print something. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, why don't I just cut this? Why don't I just, you know, use my Dremel to cut right through that, or clip it off with the bandsaw. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this mounted up like so. Get the unit, this flight controller, mounted upside down so that we can access the port. Okay. Get standoffs that are just high enough, and then get this guy mounted in the frame here. Okay, clip off these arms, because I mean this whole thing, this is like $10 worth of carbon, right? It's not the end of the world. If I destroy it, and you know this is garbage, so be it. It really doesn't matter. And then we can put a battery underneath, like I said, a 3S, and I have a 650, so 650 3S underneath, this guy on top, and then the camera sat right there. Boom. Micro DJI, or Whoop DJI, or Whoop DJI, I don't know. I'm crazy, right? It's crazy, it won't work. That's what everyone's going to tell me. You're crazy, it won't work. But I say, oh yeah it will. Because I want it to work. And I think it will work. So, that's what we're going to do. I am going to go over to the bandsaw and cut off these arms. And we'll continue recording when I get back. Alright, I cut the arms off. Here it is. And here are the arms I cut off. Not that we need them for anything, but they can't put them back on. And I just thought that was nice. So, here it is. That's what we're dealing with. Now, I gotta find some arms. Let's see, what do we got here? We got some M3 and got some M2, I think. Let's take a gander at these. 2, 3. And I think I want to put this about like this, so that the front is actually where the connector is, and then this guy runs, yeah, that way I can put a little bit of padding or something in the back. Or alright, so I should at this point double check my props. So we want to run 2.5-inch props. We've got, that's a 3-inch ducted, 4-inch, 4-inch. These guys are 25/40s. And really, Jim fan? Fort Knox. Okay. So, if we're going to squeeze this guy in here, he needs to be That's going to be close. You know what we could do? So we could put this guy on the bottom. Screw this guy down onto it. And our props are up a little higher, but the battery is going to be hanging off those 3 or 4. Those 3. I don't know. I don't know yet. Will this actually go? Let's do this. Let's do this right. Let's see if we can find the worst possible positioning of all of these guys. Alright, so this thing needs to sit down in here. Nope. Let's see how tall our motors are. Let's do that, because that shouldn't affect this guy much. Yeah. So I think mounting them on this side of it. Let's see, where's the motors? I think we wanted to use the T-Motor F15 6000 series. These are the F10s. Those are for another build, and these are for this one. Okay, come on out of there. Yep. Put this guy back inside, like so. And we will see what we can see with this guy. Yeah, it could be that once we have a little bit of height, we don't need to worry so much about clobbering the DJI unit with the props, because I really haven't measured this at all. You know, planning. Who does that? Just wing it. What could go wrong? Alright, so we probably want the slightly longer ones, I'm guessing, for this build. And we're going to run... Nope. This guy up in there like so. And here is motor numero uno, and we'll get another one started. I think it's got it. Are you serious? That's... Damn, that is super loose. Oh, I'm gonna have to put the screws in for this. Alright. So, here's what we're working with. I don't know if you can see just how close... That's not gonna fly, is it? Nope. But that's fine. I was prepared from the beginning to undersling this. I just hoped I could top mount it, because I wanted the center of the center of gravity to be a little bit higher with that 650 underneath. But it is what it is. You can't always win. It's going to fly. Yes, it'll fly, but it won't be as whoopee as we're used to. But it should still be fun. Should still be fun. What a fucking turd this camera is. I can't believe that. I look up and it's not recording. I have no idea how long it's not been recording. I hope you guys saw when I came back, and anyway, we did some tests and figured out it wasn't working. Shit. This is why I want a new camera. Santa, bring me something other than a Lumix G7 turd. Bring me a Blackmagic Cinema 4K. Please. All I want for Christmas is a Blackmagic Cinema 4K. Alright, so I don't know where I left off, but what we discovered, what we discovered together, is that with this unit mounted on top and this guy fixed to go atop of that, we couldn't make it work, because no matter what, the props would end up touching the unit. And that's even with the this tall motor here. This is a F15, which I think is an 1106, something close to that anyway. So it just wasn't enough. So that being said, what I built was this little cage to hold this guy under, and we'll put a little bit of grip under there, and we're going to just figure out a convenient way to sort of hold this guy in place so that we can run it up through and around here. Alright, so it'll mount just like so, and it'll be wonderful. Wonderful. Yep. So right now we're just tightening these guys down. We don't want to go super He-Man tight with anything just yet. Just get them snugged in good. And then we want to take a little bit of this grip. We're just going to stick it right here on the front, and we're going to put a piece along the back and another two along the sides, I reckon. I think I can get all that out of one strip. So, piece along the back, like so, about half of this guy. That. Yep. And then two little dots on either side. To hold it in place. Because this stuff works great. Just works. I like stuff that just works. Groovy. Yeah. Like I said, this guy will just plop right down in here, like so. Yep. And then we'll put a